what's going on, reefers? Kevin Wolf here with another episode of AquaReefs TV. Before we get started into our 10-gallon Bedside Nano Reef update, I really want to go ahead and just take a moment to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed thus far and has been liking the videos thus far. This channel is currently in the very early phases of even existing. However, we are approaching the 100 subscriber mark. So I really do want to take the time to say thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and tuning in. Really, my goal for this channel is to create another source for the reef tank and saltwater fish tank community. I am super passionate about this hobby. I mean, I'd be one of those reefers that would have multiple tanks in the house if possible. And I mean, let's be honest, I somewhat do. I do have a 10-gallon here, and we are starting up the water box out in the living room, so we're slowly getting to that point. But y'all have probably been wondering what has been going on with the 10-gallon Nano Reef tank since I uploaded that very first video a little over 2 years ago now. And honestly, it's time. It is time to give you guys a much needed update. I want to go over the mortalities that have happened in this tank. I want to go over the ugly phase that I went through in this tank and really just kind of fill you guys in on everything that has been going on. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys, so before we go ahead and get into this Bedside Nano Reef update here, I want to go ahead and just briefly go over why I started this system. So why I started this system is quite obvious, of course, because who wouldn't want a Bedside Nano Reef? I mean, come on, this is literally my view right here. Every morning that I wake up, I get to see this. And, you know, quite frankly, guys, it's got a lot of potential. You know, there's a lot of potential for different corals that I can grow out in this tank. And, you know, as far as the fish go, I'm pretty set in stone on the fish that are in here. It's just a 10-gallon tank, guys, so there's not going to be any more additions. And as far as fish go, to be quite frank, this blue-green chromis has totally outgrown this tank, guys. Like, just totally outgrown this tank. So he will be transferred over to the water box out in the living room as soon as the water box finishes up with its fishless cycle. I'm just gonna leave this tank for the clownfish, guys. You know, this clownfish totally loves this tank. You know, he also is probably the dominant fish in this tank for sure. Not that I ever really see any aggression too much. It's really like more play than anything. He has a pretty good relationship with the blue-green chromis, I would say. I don't ever see them like fighting. You know, from time to time, the clownfish might be like, you know, hey, get out of my corner, because this left side corner here that he's currently sitting in is really his favorite spot. The lawnmower bunny, totally the one responsible for getting me out of the hair allergy outbreak in my ugly phase of this tank, which I will go over in a moment. Yeah, guys, definitely going to be planning on moving the blue-green chromis out of here as soon as the fishless cycle is done on the water box. So again, why I started this tank, right? So I took about a 2 to 3 year hiatus in the hobby prior to getting this set up. And, you know, life gets the best of us, so sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do before we can actually invest time into our hobbies. And so as soon as I got everything handled, I said, all right, that's it. We are getting back into the reef tank hobby, because there's no way that I can ever leave this hobby completely, because I just love having a piece of the ocean inside the house, you know, considering being somebody who comes from the East Coast, you know, understandably so, right? So here we are with the Bedside Nano. I got my feet back into the hobby, and yeah, this was a really nice refresher system to have to kind of remind myself how it works and how everything goes, you know, get myself refamiliarized with testing again and all that other stuff, right? So here we are, guys. The tank is finally stabilized. Really looking forward to start adding corals. Want to go over some of the mortalities that I had to deal with in this system. The first one being the obvious that, we no longer have that bird's nest coral. It unfortunately didn't make it, and I am a true believer at this point that I added that way too early in the system. So definitely should have waited more. So first piece of advice that I would give any new hobbyist entering the saltwater aquarium hobby is that patience is everything, and it's arguably the most rewarding when it comes to getting involved in the saltwater aquarium hobby. Whether you're adding corals or you're not adding corals, or even your fish, just add things slowly. Don't add things all at once, take it easy, and good things will come with it. So yeah, guys, but go ahead and talk about some of the other mortalities we had in the tank. We used to have, once upon a time, a hammer coral that was sitting right there in the sand bed, and it was doing good until the ugly phase started up in the reef tank system here, and it just didn't make it through, guys. So again, added it a little too early, lesson learned. And we also lost the Kenya tree and the green mushroom coral that I had sitting right there in the center of the rock. Those were the only coral fatalities that I had in this tank. But once things started to settle down, the toadstool coral came first, and it's been doing relatively good ever since. Not seeing too much growth out of it. However, my parameters are staying pretty stable, so kind of beats me. However, we do have some new additions here in the system. We have these Spider-Man zoas that I recently added about a month ago, alongside with one of my favorite corals in the hobby is this Duncan coral right here. This guy has been doing really well so far since being added. Again, both of these guys were added at the same time, and they've been doing great ever since they've been added. So haven't really gotten too much coralline algae growth. The only coralline algae growth going on in this system at the moment is right here on this heater. You can probably see, if I give you a little zoom in right there, you can see some coralline growing. It is super slow, guys. Just something that takes a lot of patience. Also had some coralline growing around the pump. Hard to see right now during the current setting on the light cycle, but there was a couple little patches of coralline growing there. And then of course we have this little purple spot right here that's just currently growing at the moment, very slowly. I tried seeding it with getting hermit crabs that already had coralline on them, and yeah, guys, just it's a slow waiting game. I feel like I had to wait a little longer than previous systems that I had, but slow and steady wins the race, right? So yeah, as far as future plans for this tank go, there is a chance I might swap this 10-gallon out with a 10-gallon cube from Waterbox. Would really like to go to an all-in-one system because I am heavily debating just getting rid of the whole hang on the back filter. I just kind of like the all-in-one systems these days, and just keeps things nice and simple. So there is a slight chance that I might do that. Who knows, maybe that'll be another project that I do for the AquaReefs TV channel here. But as of right now, we're just running steady. Going to be adding some new corals again soon. Probably going to give it another 2 weeks. And then my next addition before the corals is probably going to be a bubble tip anemone of some sort. Would like to see if I can get this clownfish to host an anemone. That would just be so cool to have. And then also another cool invert we got here is the urchin. We have a sea urchin in here as well. This is a pencil urchin, guys, and I know they can be hit or miss for some people as far as the corals go. And I mean, all urchins have the trait of bulldozing through corals every now and then and again, just because of the way they are. But yeah, my pencil urchin has never seen coral as food, luckily for me. So yeah. For now, he's in there, but I am thinking about getting rid of him now that my ugly phase is totally done and over with. But yeah, guys, this is what's currently going on with the 10-gallon Nano Reef bedside aquarium. I will be keeping you guys updated as always on any new additions and anything that changes on this system as well. Definitely subscribe to the channel, guys, to follow the journey, and give this video a thumbs up. It means a lot to me, it really does. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Happy reefing and be well, everybody.